right, happy Monday. Let's find a comfortable seat to get grounded in. Feel your spine lifted as you're rooting down to your pelvis. And then roll the shoulders a few times back and down so you breathe in to lift them up first. Taking this last time to really feel the shoulder blades sliding down the back ribs, lifting up through the top of the head. Maybe closing your eyes and turning your gaze inward. Allowing a moment to just be still and more deeply listen inward. Start to deepen your breath. Engage in its sound. Exploring the boundaries of the breath as you feel it move, expand your rib cage and belly. And one last time, take a long exhale through your mouth. And then continue just breathing through your nose. I want to share an interesting quote that struck me the other day as I was reading The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. It said, "Die before you die." And here's what came before it. Since the ego is a derived sense of self, it needs to identify with external things. It needs to be both defended and fed constantly. The most common ego identifications have to do with possessions, the work you do, social status and recognition, knowledge and education, physical appearance, special abilities, relationships, personal and family history, belief systems, and often also political, nationalistic, racial, religious, and other collective identifications. None of these is you. Do you find this frightening? Or is it a relief to know this? All of these things you will have to relinquish sooner or later. Perhaps you find it as yet hard to believe, and I'm certainly not asking you to believe that your identity cannot be found in any of those things. You will know the truth of it for yourself. You will know it at the latest when you feel death approaching. Death is a stripping away of all that is not you. The secret of life is to die before you die and find that there is no death. So we're going to begin with a Kriya from Kundalini Yoga, which involves breath of fire pranayama. And this Kriya is actually called Ego Eradicator. And it's done in a specific posture in the body where you first make sure that you're sitting comfortably so that your spine can feel straight. And then you stick out the thumbs, and this will start to stretch the wrists for those of you that requested it. You stretch out the thumbs really wide away from the rest of the fingers, and then the rest of the fingers curl to close like this. So you want to feel this gentle pull here between the thumb and index fingers. And then the arms are straight, and as you sit up to raise the arms, you bring them to a 60-degree angle. Now, making sure that your shoulders are relaxed back and down. You feel the shoulder blades down the back, and that the front ribs aren't protruding forward, but the spine feels tall, shoulders are light. And then the breath of fire is where you close the lips and just breathe through your nose. And it's a quick passive inhale and a percussive exhale where the belly bounces in towards the spine. Kind of sounds like you're blowing your nose quickly like this. This is a great way to increase the capacity of the lungs. It stretches and clears the lungs as well, while building heat in the body and especially waking up the navel energy center, this place of standing up for your values. And so as we come into the position, you might close your eyes and steady your gaze right between the eyebrows. Thumbs are pointing straight up, shoulders relaxed, spine tall. And I'm going to watch the clock for a minute. Do what you can. Mouth closed, short, quick breaths in and out through the nose. Belly pulses in towards the spine as you breathe out. Let's begin. Breathe in. We're halfway there. Last few seconds. Pause, take a deep breath in, hold the breath. If you can, think of lifting your pelvic floor, try that. And then open the mouth. Keep the arms lifted, eyes closed, and see if you can bring the thumbs to touch overhead. Spread the fingers, all of them. And then slowly separate the arms wide apart as you lower them down onto your lap. So you breathe naturally here for a moment. Just take a moment to observe the effect of that Kriya. It's also known to help benefit building courage and brightness in your presence. So let's start to develop a different pranayama, Ujjayi breath, closing the lips and sustaining the breath through the nose equally. And by gently narrowing the back of your throat, creating a soft whisper. If you're sitting cross-legged, let's switch the cross of the leg on top or in front. Just a moment as we interlace the fingers loosely and roll the hands out at the wrists, giving the wrists a gentle stretch. Take notice of your shoulders if you want to gently turn your head as well. As we know, any blockages or tightness along the neck and the shoulders can be very relevant and connected to the wrists and the forearms. And now let's start to make our way down to hands and knees. We're going to do a little wrist strengthening. So as you set your knees on the floor right under your hips, set your wrists directly under your shoulders. Spread the fingers wide and flat, index fingers pointing forward. And now take a look at your hands and try to see that the base of each finger, including the base of your thumb, stays on the mat. Your spine stays like a straight line. This is not cat-cow. And you're just slowly lifting the heels of your palms so you feel weight bearing. And then slowly lower both heels of your palms. They're like wrist push-ups, just for the wrists. Inhale, lift the heels of your palms. Exhale, slowly lower both of them. So take about 5 more on your own. Keeping the breath steady through the nose. And looking at your hands, so even the base of your thumbs stay rooted on the floor. Base of the pinky fingers stay rooted. It's a very subtle motion. Notice that the spine continues to be like a straight line. And then when you're finished with that, let's spin the fingertips to turn out to whatever degree you can towards the outer edges of your mat, or maybe even towards your knees. Breathing in to cow pose, stretch the spine and coil your chest up. Breathing out to cat pose, contract the belly and round the back. Take about 5 more cycles of breath like this. Feel how your pelvis tilts forward and back consequently. And the rounding of the back is initiated from the belly contracting. And as you finish that, let's lean the weight all the way back towards your legs for a moment. You're going to do another stretch in the wrists. So making fists out of your hands, gently press your fists against each other like this, while leaning the backs of your fists onto the ground. And the more you shift your weight forward, the more intense this outer wrist and forearm stretch becomes. So just find a good balance here. As you keep the jaw relaxed, the neck long by looking forward. About 5 more breaths. Notice if any other parts of the body are reacting in any way. Couple more breaths. And as you release the hands, lean back into your legs and just circle the hands out or give them some shakes. Just kind of loosen up the wrists again. All right, one more wrist strengthening. We're gonna come on to the very tips of your fingertips. Hollow out the center of your palms. Have your wrists just about underneath your shoulders. Look on the floor ahead of your fingers. Really try to accentuate the lift up through the center of your palms rather than the collapse down through the fingers. Rebounding your weight off the floor. So feel the space in your shoulders. There's a difference when you're collapsing or you're rooting down to rise. And then lengthen the neck, look forward and press the shoulder blades down the back. Broaden the shoulder blades apart, lift the lower belly. So now with this activity, you are in modified plank pose. And for the last 3 or so breaths, if you want to try straightening your legs, you can come into full plank pose. Breathe in, still hollow out the center of the palms. Exhale, 3. Inhale, spread the shoulder blades down the back. Exhale, 2. One more breath in. Now you can lower the knees, you can flatten the palms, or keep the fingertips as you glide forward and come through chaturanga and all the way down. Woo! As you come all the way to the ground, set your right ear on the floor and slide your right arm straight out to the right so the palm is face down. Using your left hand to press the floor away, begin to roll over onto your right hip. So do rest the right side of your head all the way down. You could use a block if that helps. And let the right shoulder soften away from your right ear. Leaning back just the amount that you can feel some opening in the front of your right shoulder. Let's take 3 more breaths. Vary it in any way that feels good here. You could step the left foot back. You could wrap the left arm behind you. Is there any reaction in the facial muscles? As you breathe out, roll onto your belly, and let's gradually switch sides. Left ear to the ground or on a prop. Slide your left arm straight out to the left, palm face down. With the help of the right hand pressing the floor away, slowly roll over onto your left hip. Now soften the left shoulder away from your left ear. And about 3 more breaths here. Is there anything different on this side that you could accommodate for? Maybe step the right foot back, wrap the right arm behind. Let the breath expand both sides of your chest. And as you exhale, come back to your stomach. Let's come into Sphinx pose. So with the legs straight behind you, belly to the floor, walk your forearms in front of you so that your elbows land just slightly in front of your shoulders. Plant the palms flat, but without moving them, imagine as if you're dragging them towards your hips. So you feel the movement of your shoulders, drawing back, shoulder blades pressing down. Now, as you feel your knees no wider apart than hips distance, point your toes actively behind you, as if you're trying to make your legs even longer, and feel the lengthening effect on your lower spine. Spin your inner thighs slightly towards the ceiling as if you're about to pigeon toe your feet, but keep your feet parallel. And really firm down through every toenail, through your pubic bone. Keep all of this activity in your legs and your shoulders as you make your way into Cobra, sliding the wrists beside your floating ribs and hugging the elbows towards your sides. Now in Cobra, notice the space between your ears and your shoulders. Lengthen that space, and let's take 2 more breaths, broadening both sides of your chest. As you exhale, make your way into downward facing dog. And if you want to take a moment to shift around, feel free. A few breaths. And let's take a full breath, holding still. At the end of the exhalation, either walk or lightly jump to the front of your mat in a forward fold. Breathe in, press your legs to the floor, look forward as you lengthen the spine. Breathe out to fold in. Firming down through each foot, inhale, raise the arms, looking up. Feel the shoulders relax as the palms meet. Exhale your hands together at your heart and take a moment here to clarify, if you have one, an intention for your practice here today. Let's start to flow continuously in 3 rounds of Surya Namaskar A, saluting the sun. Inhale, sweep the arms overhead. Exhale, bow forward. Inhale, lengthen the spine forward. Step to plank, or if you're going to jump back, land halfway down already. Lowering as you breathe out. Inhale to Cobra or upward facing dog. Exhale into downward facing dog. Holding for 3 to 5 breaths. So in the way that you're breathing, nurture the qualities that your intention encompasses. And let's move with that intention, like a moving prayer. With bent knees, look ahead of your hands. Bottom of the breath, lightly land at the top of your mat to fold. Inhale, lengthen forward. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise up, gazing up. Exhale to gather at your heart. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, bow in. Inhale, lift your heart, lengthen. Step to plank to lower or float back to Chaturanga to lower. Breathe into Cobra or upward facing. Breathe out, downward facing. 3 to 5 breaths. Feel how you create space for your neck to easily soften, dropping the skull by wrapping the triceps towards the floor while rooting down between thumb and index. All right, last one. Bend your knees, look forward. bottom of the breath, lightly land at the top. Inhale, lengthen halfway. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise, gazing up. Exhale to your heart center. Inhale, sweep the space around you. Exhale, dive in. Inhale, lift your heart, look forward. Step or lightly float to lower. Breathe in as you lift the heart again. Breathe out, downward facing dog. Few breaths here. So from here, take a look ahead between your hands and lightly step your left foot there. Then in this wide stance, pivot both feet to face the wide edge of your mat so your feet become parallel and you're in a wide-legged forward folds. Inhale, lengthen the spine halfway up. Place the right hand front and center on the ground and raise the left arm up, turning your chest to the left to twist. A few breaths here. Engage the fronts of your thighs as if you're trying to lift your kneecaps without locking your knees, and let your weight slightly tilt more forward. As you stretch through the sides of your neck, breathe in, and then take another exhale to keep twisting, leveling out your two hips. And switch hands, the other hand on the ground, opposite arm to the sky. As you breathe in, fold the full length of your spine as if you're creating a straight line with it. Exhale, turn the chest. Draw the shoulder blades down your back. Couple more breaths. Setting both hands down, bend your knees and bring your hands to your hips. Leading with your chest, firm your belly, and inhale, slowly rise up. As you come all the way to stand, open up your arms and have your stance as wide apart as your hands are spread. Then from your hips, rotate your legs and pivot both feet so that your left foot is your front foot. Warrior two. Lining up your left heel to the arch of your right foot, bend your left knee just over the ankle. Wrap the left outer hip underneath your body. Firm the top of the right thigh bone back. Pelvis upright, lower belly engaged. Open your arms wide and relax the shoulders as you lift your crown. Then steady your gaze or drishti just ahead of your left hand, or close your eyes and focus right between the eyebrows. Let's take about 5 more breaths. So how does your ability to balance effort and ease and to engage from within the body eliminate overdoing it, too much force, especially superficial force, and underdoing it, laziness or stagnancy? Cross your heart space and down into the pit of your belly. Take a deep breath. Out through the nose, whisper it. Keep the arms wide open. Straighten the left leg for triangle. You might like to shorten your stance a couple inches. Slide your hips sideways towards your back leg and reach the left hand past your left knee before landing it onto your leg or just to the left of your leg, right up against it. Keep wrapping the left outer hip under your body and feel your tailbone reach towards your right heel. Straight line across the arms, shoulder blades moving down the back. Find a little spiraling action in your torso where you're turning the chest slightly to face the sky. You might be gazing up. 5 more breaths. Feel the balance of your weight here, rooting down through the big toe mound of your front foot, counterbalanced by the outer edge of your back foot. Then energy rising in that idea of lifting the kneecaps without locking the knees, engaging the fronts of the thighs so that the weight of your left hand doesn't feel like it's collapsing down, but you're rooting down and lifting up. Feel the rise of the right hand. Last breath. Feel the strength of your center as you press through your feet and inhale, rise up. So from your hips, rotate your legs and pivot to face the opposite edge of your mat. Looking at your right foot, your front foot, align that heel to the arch of your back foot and bend your right knee just over the heel in Warrior Two. Reopen your arms. Feel the right outer hip wrap underneath the body slightly as you're firming the top of your left thigh bone back. Your pelvic bowl sitting upright with the strength and support of your lower belly. Arms wide open, shoulders relaxed, top of your head lifting. Steady your gaze. About 5 more breaths. Feel the inhalation expand across your heart space and dive deep into your belly. Listen to the exhalation smoothly through your nose. Keep the arms wide, straighten your front leg for triangle. You might shorten your stance a couple inches. Slide your hips sideways towards the back of your mat and reach the right hand past your right knee before lowering it to your leg or just to the right outside of it. Feel that your right outer hip can still wrap under your body as you direct your tailbone towards your left heel actively. Feel the balance of weight, big toe mound of your front foot rooting down, outer edge of your back foot rooting down. Feel how that rebounds a lift of energy through the legs and arms. Spiraling chest towards sky, maybe gazing up. Last few breaths here. As you firm down through your feet, feel the strength of your center. Inhale to rise all the way up. And let's step up to the top of your mat. So bring your feet together to touch. Join your hands together at your heart. Shift your weight onto your left foot. Lift your right foot in front of you as you flex it. Level your 2 hips. Steady your gaze, your breath. And then turn out your right leg, wrapping the sitting bone underneath, just like Warrior Two. Hug the inside of your left ankle, calf or thigh, standing in tree pose. Vrikshasana. Maybe play with raising your arms. So just like in the wrist stretch we did earlier, can you feel the rebound of your weight off the floor? As if with each breath you can get taller and taller, spine more spacious. Let's take 2 more breaths here. Then recenter your palms at your heart and step your right foot to meet the left. Shift your weight onto your right foot. Spread the toes, spread your weight to the 4 corners of your right foot. Lift your left knee in front of you, flex the foot, balance your 2 hips. Then turn out your left leg and wrap the sitting bone under like you would in Warrior Two. Hug the inside of your right ankle, calf or thigh. With steady breath, steady eyes. Explore any variations of your arms and notice how you vary something and how other parts might respond or react. Taking a holistic perspective. Last couple of breaths here. Again, rather than your weight collapsing down to your standing foot, feel the accentuation on the lifting up. Bring the hands together at the heart. And step your left foot down. Let the feet come together to touch. The knees touch as you bend your knees and sink your weight back into your heels. Inhale into chair pose, Utkatasana. Exhale to fold forward. Inhale, lift the spine forward. Step or float back to take your version of a vinyasa. Let's meet in downward facing dog. Now in downward dog with your feet hips width apart. Inhale, raise the right leg behind you. As you exhale, looking forward, start to cross the right knee to touch your left elbow or tricep. So you're twisting at the waist. The two shoulders try to stay even. Then inhale, re-extend the right leg. Let's try that twice more. Exhale, right knee crosses over to the left tricep. Feel the twisting happen at the waist. Last time, inhale, straighten the leg. Exhale again, cross. Look ahead of your hands. Then lightly step the foot forward inside of your right hand for warrior one. Spin your back heel down and have your two hips facing forward as you root down to lift up. So take a moment here to bring your hands to your hips. Manually encourage the right outer hip to draw back as you're bending the right knee just on top of the ankle. Let the left outer hip come forward as you feel your left leg entirely straight and the outside edge of the heel pressing the floor so that the inner arch is not collapsing. Lifting the frontal hip bones, feel your center strong, and then reach your hands behind you, interlacing your fingers or holding a strap. Bending the elbows close together, breathe in and lift the heart. Take a look up. Stay here for a few breaths or start to bow forward into humble or devotional warrior. Keep scissoring the right hip back. If you're bowing, you're either on top of your front thigh or inside of it. Feel the weight of your back heel helping to support your balance. And if you're bowing, keep a little bend in the elbows so that as you're lifting your arms away from your lower back, you're able to lift the shoulders up and away from your neck while completely dropping your head. Is there any reaction in the facial muscles, like in the jaw or between the eyes? Let's take 3 last breaths here. Now pressing down through your feet, inhale to slowly rise up into warrior one again, arms overhead. Take your right thumb and hook it to the crease of your right outer hip, drawing that hip back. Lift the left heel if you want to take a lunge for the twist, or even to lower the left knee. Some of you might want to try the challenge of keeping the legs in warrior one as we take the twist. You choose. Stretch the spine forward, tuck the right hip back, and then turn your chest to the right. Either lower left hand to the ground inside of the leg, or hook the left elbow outside of the right thigh. Hands in prayer, arms wide. Now feel stability in your center as you try to level your two hips to face forward evenly. With each breath in, lengthening space throughout the spine, including your neck. And as you breathe out, letting the belly hollow, giving you space to deepen the twist. Last 3 breaths. Now take a look at the floor just inside of your right foot. Place your left hand down there. Start to roll onto the outer edges of both of your feet flex, bringing right hand to right hip. Slide your right foot down the right edge of your mat, midway down towards the rear of your mat. Still leaning on the outer feet, flex them both. Then raising the right arm overhead, push the floor away and lift the left hip. Breathe in. As you exhale, dip the left hip to touch the floor and reach the right hand towards the back of your mat. Let's try 3 breath-led movements. Inhale, up and overhead. Exhale, dip and towards the back of the mat. Or 3 breaths. Inhale, up and overhead. Exhale down towards the back of the mat. So here's the last one. Inhale up, overhead. Exhale down and towards the back of your mat. Inhale up, press the right foot flat on the floor, and you're now in modified side angle pose. 5 breaths or so. Keep flexing the left foot if you want to take full side angle Vashisthasana. Stack both feet and flex both. Now imagine your spine like a straight line, and that line continues down to your inner heels. Hugging in the front ribs, containing your center, rebounding your weight, accentuate more of the rise up than the rooting down. Feel that right hand get a little higher as you take one more breath. And sweep the right hand overhead, come down to your vinyasa, take rest in child's pose. Whatever you choose, we'll meet in downward facing dog. Let's take about 3 breaths where you land. And back to downward facing dog. See that your feet are hips width apart. Then inhale, raise your left leg behind you. Look forward and exhale. Cross your left knee to touch your right elbow or upper arm in a twist, keeping your shoulders even as you can. Inhale the left leg back. We've got 2 more. Exhale, keep the shoulders balanced. Look forward of your hands as you cross left knee to right tricep. Feel where the twist is happening along your torso. Focus it on your waistline. Last one, inhale. Exhale, twist. And land the left foot forward just inside of your left hand. Separating your feet hips width, spin the back heel down. Keeping your hips facing forward, rise up. Warrior 1. So let's bring the hands to the hips. As you bring the left hip back, bend your left knee right over the ankle. With the right hand, carry the right outer hip forward and entirely straighten your right leg as you press the outside edge of the heel into the ground. Lift the frontal hip bones so the center feels contained. Now let's reach the hands behind. Grab your strap or interlace the other thumb and index on top. As you breathe in, bend the elbows close together and lift your chest. Stay here, or exhale, start to bow forward into humble or devotional warrior. Either resting on your front thigh or inside of it. Feel the strength of your back heel pressing the earth. Keep scissoring the left hip back. Let's take a few more breaths. If you're bowing, let this help release any tension in your neck, shoulders, jaw, or head. By stretching the arms away from the lower back, slightly bending the elbows, and lifting the shoulders away from the neck. Use the weight of your own brain and head to relax the neck. Last 2 breaths. Start to rise up slowly, arms overhead. Couple of breaths in Virabhadrasana 1, Warrior 1. Now feel how stable the squaring of your hips, the balance of your legs are here. Bring your left thumb to the outer left hip, drawing it back as you bend the front knee. Decide how you want your legs for the twist. Keeping Warrior 1 like this will make it more challenging. If you don't need that challenge, lift the back heel and parallel your feet, or lower the back knee for more support. Then on an inhale, stretch your spine forward. As you exhale, twist to the left and find the twist you did on the first side if you can. Right hand down on the floor inside the leg, or right elbow crossing outside the left thigh, hands in prayer or arms wide open. Got about 5 breaths to explore this. So rooting down through both feet, stabilize your center through the squaring of your hips and engaging the hips towards the midline. As you breathe in, stretch the spine down the center line of your mat. Soften the shoulders away from the neck. And as you breathe out, hollow your belly, keep turning the chest. Now take a step back in your perspective and see your whole body. Feel the energy of your whole body. Is it balanced? Then look down at the floor just under your right shoulder and plant your right wrist there, spreading the fingers wide. Place your left hand on your left hip as you roll onto the outer edges of both feet flexed, dragging the left foot down the left edge of your mat, midway towards the rear of your mat. Stop there. Reach the left arm up and overhead towards the front of your mat, rising as you press the ground away. Breathe in. Then exhale, dip the right hip towards the floor and reach the left hand towards the rear of your mat. 3 rounds of breath. Inhale up and overhead. Exhale down and to the rear. Inhale up and overhead. Keep flexing the feet. Exhale down and towards the rear. Last one. Inhale up and overhead. Keep the right shoulder in its socket. Exhale down and towards the rear. This time, inhale up, keep the arm up, and start to step the left foot flat in front of you where it is. Use it to press the floor away in your modified side plank, or stack the left foot above the right and flex both. Think of creating a mountain pose. Then draw the shoulder blades down the back. Feel the rebound of your weight, lifting the left hand a little higher. How's your breathing? Can you feel stability here? Reach the top hand overhead. You decide if you want to flow or take rest. We'll meet in downward facing dog. Might be a good time to take a cooling exhale through the mouth, whether lion's breath, a big loud sigh, or fluttering your lips. Maybe a few times. Let's come down to hands and knees, all fours. Take a look in front of your hands and step your right foot just inside of the right hand. Then slide the heel forward, coming into half or moving towards full split, Hanumanasana. Flex your right foot and press the big toe mound forward. Engage the front of your right thigh. And draw the thigh bone back as you level your hips squared facing forward. Stretch your spine from the lower spine up to your neck and open your throat as you bow even deeper. Now, if you're moving towards a full split of some degree, tuck your left toes and use that to help bring your left outer hip forward and keep drawing the right outer hip back, maintaining your 2 hips equally facing forward. You could put a block under your right thigh too, that could help. So whatever version of Hanumanasana, let's take 3 last deep breaths. Maybe you raise the arms up and take the mudra, which is a symbol of victory. Let's release the fingers except the index. Then with the help of your 2 hands, gently begin to drag your right heel back, stepping onto all fours. Take your time through the transition. Be aware how you're breathing there. When you're ready, step the left foot just inside of the left hand and slide the left heel forward, flexing the foot. As you press the big toe mound of your left foot forward, engage the front of the thigh and draw the thigh bone back. Keeping your 2 hips leveled, either stay in the half split or tuck the right toes if you're going to explore some degree of a full split. Sliding the left heel forward, but scissoring the left outer hip back. Maybe placing a block or pillow under the left thigh. Maybe adding the arms overhead in that victory mudra. Let's take 3 more breaths. And carefully place your hands on the ground. Slide your left heel back. Let's take 1 more time in downward facing dog. This last inversion here. Feel the rooting down through your hands and the strong lift up through your hips. Belly firming in towards the back, shoulders rising away from the neck. Breathe into the full length of your spine. Last 2 breaths. Adho Mukha Svanasana. As you're ready, come down to child's pose and let's pause there for 3 breaths. Any way you want to place your arms. And with your hands alongside your knees, press the ground and roll your spine upright to sit. Bring the legs in front of you so that your pelvis is right at the middle of your mat. And step your feet on the ground, hips distance, parallel. Lifting your spine tall, extend your arms forward with your palms face up, and relax the shoulders, lift your heart. Taking a few slow breaths, slowly lower onto your back. Feeling your own peaceful strength from the inside out. And when you lower, slide your feet back. You could almost touch your heels with your fingertips to prepare for bridge pose. Firming down through your feet. When you're ready, lift your hips. Slide the upper arms under your back ribs. Maybe interlace the fingers. So we're only doing this once. Take as many breaths as you need, 5 to 10. Fully expanding your lungs. Lengthening the fronts of your hips, the fronts of your thighs. As you actively stretch the tailbone forward towards the space between the knees. Lightly engaging the backs of your thighs and your glutes. Tilting the chin back as you open the throat. As you root down through the outer upper arms and shoulders, feel the rise up through your heart space. And when you feel that you're ready to come down on your own, with an exhalation, carefully lower 1 vertebra at a time. Keeping your knees bent. When your pelvis meets the ground, separate your feet wider than your hips distance, maybe as wide as the edges of your mat. Separate your knees just as wide apart as your feet and drop both knees all the way to the right in an open twist. Make sure that your left knee is pointing down the center line of your mat here, so it's in line with your left shoulder. Now either keep an open twist, or if you'd like to focus more opening into the left side of your psoas, lower back and hip, pick up your right foot and cross your right ankle just above your left knee onto your left thigh. Then you might also explore raising the arms overhead to find more space in the sides of your waist. You could catch hold of opposite elbows with each hand. Let's try lengthening the out breaths as we cool down. So empty this breath, hold it out. Inhale through the nose for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale through the lips, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Again, inhale, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. One more breath here. And you feel a sense of melting into earth support. Then release the arms, uncross the legs, and separate your feet again about mat width. Separate your knees just as wide apart as your feet. Then drop both knees to your left side, keeping it an open twist, or picking up the left foot and crossing it just above your right knee onto your right thigh. Make sure that your right knee is pointing down the center line of your mat, in line with your right shoulder. You might also raise the arms overhead and switch, holding the other elbow on top. As we practice different mindful breathing techniques to relax the nervous system, another one is to breathe into your belly. Focus on the gentle expansion of the abdomen as you inhale. Hollowing the belly softly as you exhale. And you might still lengthen the out breath longer. Hearing a gentle whisper out through the mouth. Let's take 2 more breaths here. And as you're ready to unravel, bend your knees apart, either into a supine version of frog. The knees turn to face the outside walls, the side walls. Or come into happy baby. Lift the soles of your feet towards the sky. Either of the two, ground your tailbone and your shoulders. Feel the weight of your pelvis, offering support to create space in your lower back. And for just a few more breaths, continue to lift your legs up like this, higher than your heart. As you start to make your way down towards Shavasana, take any last small movement, brief stretch. Then find that position of rest. Allow your breath to rest. Allow your mind to rest. A few minutes here. If you prefer to rest longer, the last 2 minutes, then stay in Shavasana. Otherwise, begin to turn over to one side. And gradually lift your body upright for sitting meditation. So I mentioned this practice I've been doing recently. You might like to use it today, of categorizing or naming the thoughts in the most concise way, where you don't get involved in the thought, but you just simply point it out so that at the end, it might offer insight to the habitual kinds of thoughts. For example, a thought that's judging, you might simply say in your mind, judging. Or a thought that is planning ahead into the future, just say planning. It's really concise so that you still are aware of your breath and are present. So that's something you might bring into practice today. Let's take 2 minutes. If you're still lying down, please gently make your way up. Sitting tall, join your palms to meet at your heart, bowing in. May we spread the benefits of this practice through our presence and the way we connect with those around us. Let's close with one Om. Take a deep breath. The light in me bows to the light in you. Namaste.